So here we are again, the second to last stage of the Vuelta in 2020. Here I am, Nate English, with Gregory Kennedy, retired pro cyclist and pro cycling superfan, covering the Vuelta with the most exciting commentary on the most exciting stage. And I'm joined by a squirrel that just climbed up over the fence in front of me. He's like running around like 8 feet in front of me. Anyway, but yeah, so today was awesome. Everyone was really going for it. Carapaz did exactly what he had to do, but Gregory, did he have the gas to make that attack stick and pick up the time he needed?
Yeah, cycling's full of heartache, right? He did the best that he could. It was as I expected, big attack at the end, but it just wasn't enough, which is also what I had suspected. I think they still needed to do something the day before to gain more time. Like just 45 seconds on a mountain stage, I just don't see it. And it wasn't to be, right? He did pick up 20 something seconds, but yeah, he's still in number two. And Roglic looked weak, right? So bittersweet, but I am happy actually that Roglic didn't get robbed again on the last stage like he did in the Tour de France. That just might crush that guy.
Yeah.
Forever. I think that would be really hard to deal with if you just got overtaken again like that.
Yeah, twice in a row would be the worst. I feel like he would be like one of the best riders in the Pro Peloton, and he would just retire this year because he's like just so over it after having that happen twice. But yeah, I feel like I'm happy to see Roglic win after great riding at both the Tour and the Volta. It was really exciting, I think, seeing Carapaz do what he needed to do today. Like, I really don't think that it would have been like if there was some crazy opportunity yesterday, I think that they could have tried to take advantage of that. But really, I don't think that yesterday was the day to make any moves for Ineos. I think they really had to just put it all on the line on the last like 2 to 3K of the stage today, which is what Carapaz did. He just didn't have the legs for it. Like, he put in a great attack and he opened up probably like 20 plus seconds in the first few minutes of his attack, but then you could see Roglic was definitely under duress. Like, he was losing time, but was able to like keep his head straight and get a little bit of help from the other riders and just keep the gap manageable. But I mean, it would have been, I feel like if he didn't have a teammate, if he had just gotten like a little bit more bothered by the attack and got too nervous, like he could have lost another 20 seconds. But it is crazy. We were just looking back at the time trial times and also the time bonuses too, because Roglic has been up on the podium and even got time yesterday because he was second in the sprint finish. So what regrets do you think Carapaz has looking back at this race, Gregory?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think they played it conservative, and like, I think that's lame. I think they should have tried something. Like, they weren't going to get first place to the strategy that they took, and I thought that was really apparent, and they should have done something. We've seen these crazy solo breakaways succeed in the past. Like, Froome has done it, Floyd Landis famously has done it. Like, it does happen, right? And that's what it takes when you're behind. Like, I think the conservative strategy that they used resulted in a conservative result, right? They got second place. Cycling is a sport where only one person can ultimately win. That's kind of what I like about it. We didn't really talk about the stage winner. So David Gaudou's victory was incredible.
Yeah.
Nice to see him do something for FTJ with, Thibaut yet again, like dropping out of another Grand Tour.
Yeah, it was a great stage win. And it was a very dynamic stage. There was a lot going on. For a minute, I thought Izaguri looked good, like when he first did his attack lower down on the slopes, but he clearly was just like hoping that he could hold on, but he was pretty gassed at the end. But he obviously has done that multiple times before. So it was really fun seeing it play out both in the front group and in the GC group. And then notably, like, Hugh Carthy was riding again extremely strongly. He was ahead of Martin going into the stage and increased his lead over Martin because Martin got dropped with 4 or 5K to go. And Hugh Carthy actually dropped Roglic in the last, 2K or so. So it was like very dynamic, pretty exciting. It was good to see him get on the podium. I feel like it's a great result for EF. Like, they've won a couple stages and finished on the podium at the race. And then Moss was riding really strong again. Like he didn't quite have it on a couple of the earlier stages, but it was good to see him. And he's a young rider, so he has like 10 years to keep going at it.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up Movistar. Today was the first day I think I've ever seen them work as a team. It was brilliant. It was incredibly exciting to watch. They went.
So what
to
did they
front.
do for people that didn't watch that part of the race?
Yeah, they did what Ineos should have been doing, right? They got aggressive. They got their team together. They went to the front. They put the pressure on. That's what I think ultimately broke Ineos, was that Movistar around 50 kilometers went to the front, just put the pressure on. And you could see even Carapaz got dropped at some point, and he had a struggle to make the split in the peloton, and they kept up the pressure. Eventually there was an attack by Marc Soler, and we'd see him did this early in the Vuelta. He bridged another 2 minute or slightly less gap up into the break, and you saw as he was about a minute behind the break, they had another Movistar riders in the break drop back and bring Solar into the break, which was just incredible team tactics. Like, I'm glad that if anything that happened at this Vuelta, Movistar finally got it together and started working like a real cycling team, and that just warmed my heart.
Yeah, that was a really good effort on their part, and like that is what took Ineos out of contention, like collectively as a team. Obviously, Carapaz was able to make it and was able to put in a good attack at the end, but I don't know. I feel like looking back at this race, like if he had just had a few more seconds on the time trial, if he had maybe somehow managed to get like to stay in the front split today and not have to work for it earlier, like 50K out, if he was just a little bit fresher and could have picked up another 10, 12 seconds today and on the time trial, like that would have been exactly what he needed to be basically tied in time. So it's like heartbreakingly close.
Yeah, well, Jumbo and Movistar obviously saw what was happening, right? And it's in both of their interests to hurt Ineos, and to some degree EF saw that as well, right? So you could see how the peloton split was the teams that were strong and organized, Movistar and Jumbo, like both started to work, and Ineos just I think overall Ineos' strategy this year with like having a different top rider at each Grand Tour was excellent marketing, but I don't know if it was fantastic race tactics, by diluting their great riders across all the different races. They didn't necessarily have the results that we see them have in the past. I mean, I guess they still did win the Giro overall, so hard to really criticize them for taking first in Giro and second in the Vuelta.
Yeah. I kind of wonder how much of that is influenced by the form that people were in throughout the year, and how much different people in different locations were impacted, like their training was impacted by COVID, because it seems like that has been highly variable. And I feel like that would be really interesting, like if you could somehow see like all of the top riders, like how much they were able to train and where they were living, and whether they were like stuck indoors on the trainer for a few months, or if they lived someplace where they were just out riding and they didn't really have to change their calendar much, except that they weren't racing earlier in the year. Because I feel like, especially for the Grand Tours where you are riding for 3 weeks straight, like having that volume of riding 4 or 5, 6 hours, like day after day in February and March makes such a huge difference. And if they lost that because they were riding, 3-hour trainer rides, because it was just mind-numbingly challenging. And I don't know, I could see that having an impact. And it's hard to know what all goes on behind the scenes, but it worked out a certain way, and Roglic clearly was the best GC rider this year.
I sent you that commentary from Chris Froome saying that the beginning of the Vuelta was really tough, and then the racing like really whipped him back into shape, and that he felt that training, however he's doing it indoors or solo with other people, just wasn't enough. It wasn't the same as racing, and he felt it really affected his form. So there's at least some anecdotal evidence to that like the racing season just is bizarre. The Vuelta was late in the year. It was cold. Like I've never seen a Vuelta that looks like they're racing in New England and New Hampshire or something. All the rain and cold. Yeah,
it looked like the Bay Area today, just kind of like overcast, like drizzly a little bit, not necessarily like cold and snowy like the Giro sometimes is, where they finish in the snow drifts, but it was something else. But yeah, I feel like it was a really great race. It was pretty exciting from the start. Like the first couple days were surprisingly active. And even today, like there was until it was done, like it was not entirely clear that Roglic for sure had it, like because he looked like he was losing time, and you couldn't always tell what the time gap was. It was going to be close. But yeah, tomorrow they're going to go to Madrid. They're probably just going to cruise around and have a sprint finish and finish safely together.
There was some debate about the processionary stage, right? So the last stage in Madrid or in Paris, or when they do it in Italy, is primarily ceremonial. And so there was some debate on the commentary today, like, hey, could Carapaz make up the 24 seconds? But Ineos just posted on Twitter that Carapaz will ride into the finish in Madrid as the second place champion in the Vuelta.
The second place champion, the finishers.
Always a champion in my heart, of course.
That's cute. I like that. But yeah, so I guess we'll come back tomorrow and I don't know, offer any final parting words, but mostly tomorrow is just going to be like a big group ride, and they'll be happy to be finishing up. I'm sure there'll be some excitement in the sprint finish, and it's like dead flat, or effectively dead flat tomorrow. So probably the finale will be exciting, but it won't have any impact on the GC, which is sorted out today. But it should be good. And yeah, we'll come back tomorrow, and pretty soon we'll transition away from race commentary because there will be no races for a few months. And we'll do more like fitness and I don't know, racing training commentary or ideas on this channel.
Winter training, that's what's coming up for everybody.
Yeah, everyone's getting ready. It's like time to kind of come off of the late season break and start building the foundation over the winter. Cool. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.